Hello everybody, welcome back to another Science Sunday. This week we're going to continue in our series on the life of Jesus, and we're going to talk about the time when he heals a paralyzed man. So let me read from Mark 2, and before I do that, let me set it up. So Jesus is in this house, and he's talking to a whole bunch of people, and it's super crowded, and the room is packed, and there's this group of men who have a friend who's paralyzed, and they've heard that Jesus can heal people. So they want to get this man to see Jesus so that Jesus can heal him. So this is where we're starting out. All right, so it says, they couldn't bring him to Jesus because of the crowd. So they dug a hole through the roof above his head. Then they lowered the man on his mat right down in front of Jesus, saying, seeing their faith, Jesus said to the paralyzed man, "My child, your sins are forgiven." Now that right there was really surprising because, these men were hoping that they would heal their friend, but instead Jesus says, "Your sins are forgiven." But some of the teachers of the religious law who were sitting there thought to themselves, "What is he saying? This is blasphemy. Only God can forgive sins." Jesus knew immediately what they were thinking, so he asked them, "Why do you question this in your hearts? Is it easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or 'Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk'? So I will prove to you that I am the Son of Man." So I will prove to you that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. Then Jesus turned to the paralyzed man and said, "Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk." And the man jumped up, grabbed his mat, and walked out through the stunned onlookers. They were all amazed and praised God, exclaiming, "We have never seen anything like this before." Now, there's a couple of things that are really neat about this story. The first is that Jesus knew that what this man needed more than being healed was to be forgiven, because he has sin in his life, and that sin keeps him apart from God. So Jesus, first works on our heart. He says, yes, I want you to be blessed. I want you to have, these gifts that I want to give you. But the most important thing is that you have a relationship with God. And so that's the first thing that he wanted to give this man. And it's true for us too. Sometimes he will heal us from things or bless us. But the most important thing is that we understand and know who God is and who Jesus is. That's the first thing. The other thing is that he didn't right away heal this guy. He wanted to prove a point and a lesson that he is the Son of God, that he has the authority to do this, to both heal people and to forgive them of their sins. So this is a great lesson. The other thing that I really like about the story is just the engineering challenge of it. So these friends, get this guy on the roof, and they dig this hole, because the roofs were made out of mud or something they could dig out. And then they've got this hole, and they want to get this guy down to Jesus. Now imagine doing this. You've got your friend. They weigh a lot. They're heavy. You can't just lower them down on a rope. So I was thinking about, all right, how would I do that if I had a friend of mine and I needed to get him lowered down this inside this roof. I'd probably want to do like a series of pulleys. Some kind of mechanical advantage. And if you guys haven't seen a pulley before, let me show it to you. So this is an example of a pulley. So the way it works is you put a rope through the pulley. Let me show you here really quick, like this. And so if you have this side attached to a weight, and you are pulling, so you have this attached to something fixed, and then you're pulling on this side, what this pulley is going to do is it's going to make it so that you only have to pull on this about half the weight of whatever's hanging off of this pulley, because you have a mechanical advantage. Basically what's happening with the setup here is that for every foot that you pull here, this is only moving up half of a foot. And so you're trading off the distance that this weight moves for the force it takes to move that weight. That's how a pulley works. And so, using this system, you can lift heavy weights, with very little force. So, I can pull something with this pulley and make it half the effort to pull it up. So that we're going to do some experiments and show some examples of setting up a series of pulleys, because if you use more than one pulley, you can get even more mechanical advantage and you can lift things that are even heavier. So we're going to go through a series of experiments to show just how effective these things are. And that's the first thing I thought of when I read the story of these friends that are lowering down the paralyzed man. I thought, hey, I wonder how they did it. That's the first thing that came to mind. So let's go to that and we'll show you guys some of those experiments. All right, Micah, this is test number 1. So pick up the weight just directly, just like that with a string.
Like this?
Yep. Pick it up. All right. How hard is that?
Not that hard.
All right.
Yeah, see that? Yeah.
All right, test number 2. So now you're going to pull it straight down, and now we're using a pulley, and we're going to see. What do you think?
Really, really easy.
Really, really easy? You sure?
Yeah.
All right, so we have the next setup here. So what we've done, we now have 2 pulleys. So it's tied up here, and then it goes through this pulley, and then goes through this pulley, and then Mike is going to pull it down. So it's 1, 2, 3. All right, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, that's so easy.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
All right, let's try another one. Okay, Micah, now we've got, I want to show what we have here. We have 3 pulleys now. We have 1, 2, 3, and Micah's going to pull on it. All right, go ahead.
That is really, really, really easy. If you had strong enough pulleys, you could lift up a car like this.
You absolutely could, and you actually do. They do that. All right, so what we did here was we have, so these, when he's pulling on this string, he's pulling it a long way, and basically this one that's actually pulling up the weight is not moving very fast. See, this is moving just a little bit, while he's moving that string a lot. And so he's getting mechanical advantage to pull it up. So he has to put in a lot less force to move it up than he would if he was just picking it up directly. And you can see he's moving these, I think it's a quarter at this point. So he's putting 1/4 of effort in to picking up this weight. So it's very easy for him to pick up. All right, let's try one more, add 1 more pulley. All right, last test, we got 4 pulleys. All right, Micah, go ahead.
Let me try to use my pinky only.
So, what do you think?
Extremely easy like this.
Look at that.
I could lift up a person like this.
You absolutely could.
Just sit him on a chair and do that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that for a science on another week.
That'd be so cool. Seeing a person would be lifted up into the air.
Yep.
I'm gonna try just my pinky.
Nice job.
Wow. So easy. 100 pounds like that.
Keep going.
And slowly let it down like this.
So Lukey could pick up a car if we had enough pulleys.
If I did like 100 pulleys, like okay, so if you have 100 pulleys, I can just use my pinky and go.
Yep.
And lift the car up.
If we need to
Like 10 pulleys, that's all we need.
if we need to fix something,
We need like this kind of pulley maybe, like 10 of these.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We did some experiments with pulleys, and we saw how mechanical advantage can really help you to achieve things that are difficult to lift. And we talked about the story of Jesus healing the paralyzed man, and the interesting thought experiment of how they actually got the paralyzed man to Jesus. So that was fun. Anyway, have a great week, you guys, and I'll see you next week for another Science Sunday.